Yep, you're reading that right. Yeah, it's kind of starting to look like I'm already running out of ideas for these, isn't it? But, yep, Mass Effect Trilogy Romance's Tier List Maker. Unfortunately, as I've actually not done a lot of these, I didn't feel I could fairly rank them in terms of, like, best to worst. And also, I mean, that kind of thing. So what I'm doing instead is, you probably, just in case you can't read the text on these, at the top here it's done more than twice, and then done twice. Actually, I don't need the each in there. Let me just go ahead and get rid of it. Okay, so done twice, done once, and then out here at the bottom is, oh, haven't done. And there's any number of reasons that I won't have done them. Either because I didn't want to, or because I just didn't get around to it. Now, keep in mind, I have played through the entire trilogy about 11 times, but even still, the fact that I did some of these more than twice, well, one of these more than twice, but that's getting ahead of myself. Yeah, okay, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it, because I am a rambling motherfucker. We're going to start with the haven't dones. I'm not going to be doing them in the order that the characters are shown here. And, just for the record, just because someone is going in haven't done doesn't mean I don't like the character, unless I specifically say so. So, as I said, we're starting with haven't done, and my mom's going to be disappointed in me for this one, I think. I have not done the Garrusmancer thing. Sorry. I love Garrus. He's like one of my favorite characters in this game, honestly. But I just never felt compelled to take that option. Again, nothing against Garrus. I just never really... It just wasn't... I didn't feel it, as the kids say these days. I'm an elder millennial. I can say I didn't feel it, right? That's not just for Zoomers. Vega. I like Vega. Never really felt compelled to do the romance option there either. I know there's some people who hate James for some reason, but I don't really get it. I like him. Didn't even know that Javik was an option. No, was he an option? Or is he on this list for, like, troll purposes? I swear, I don't think there was ever... I don't recall seeing any dialogue options that could have... And again, like I said, I've played through the entire trilogy like 11 times. I mean, Javik's a good character. I just don't really see him as a romanceable option, so I don't even know why he would be. Chambers... Yeah, I'll be honest, I've only ever gotten far enough with her that she starts feeding my fish on the Normandy, and then I stop, which... Okay, let's be real here. Isn't that how most people do it? Has anyone ever actually finished with Kelly? I mean, I imagine some people must have, but I imagine it's got to be in the minority. Not that she's a bad character at all or anything. I think it's just honestly a case of people tend to prefer one of the ones you can go into battle with, and also they don't want to have to keep running up to the cabin to feed the fish every few minutes while playing the game. Okay, was this a choice by whoever made this tier list to not have Jack's face in there? That feels kind of crude. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, I never took the Jack romance path either. Just, again, no like strong reason. It just never felt like a thing I was interested in doing. Okay, Cortez. This one might be a little controversial for people, but it just didn't feel right to me because, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, the only really viable male option in the trilogy is with Caden, and that's because it just, okay, this is just my opinion, but it really does feel like it's, in terms of in-universe, just way too soon. I mean, the guy is just neck deep in mourning for his husband when you meet him, and it takes a while in-game to get him to a point where he can feel like he's ready to let go. I honestly, trying to flirt with him feels like trying to pick up a widow at the funeral. It just felt wrong, and I like the character way too much to want to do that. And make fun of me if you want for feeling that way about a video game, but honestly, that's what a good video game should do. And Mass Effect 3, the questionable ending aside, is a good game. In fact, I maintain that if the whole game had sucked, nobody would have even cared that much about those last 15 minutes. And I stand by that. But, yeah. Although, to be fair, the extended cut and later the Leviathan DLC did improve that somewhat. I'll just repeat what my stepfather has said about that. It says that the extended cut and Leviathan took the ending from an F to a C-, and I think it's a pretty good way of putting it. Morinth, fuck no. That was never going to be an option, because I like, I always want my Shepherd to live to 3. I swear, I don't think anybody did that who wasn't just curious, and then as soon as it was done, they went back to an earlier save and then finished the game properly. I never tried with Samara either. Never really. It just didn't appeal to me. Oh, okay. No, yeah, I thought the Garrus one might disappoint my mom. Never did a Thane Mancer run. I like Thane. I really do. He's one of my favorite characters. I like how some of the DLC for 3 kind of patched up the problem, how in the main game it kind of feels like he's just forgotten about after he dies. But yeah, I just wasn't interested in trying that. Oof. It honestly just occurred to me that, like, only 2 of the non-human characters in here are going to be going into the other tiers. Wow, that was some unintentional bias on my part there. Okay, so that's the haven't done list. We're going up into once here now, and honestly, that's going to be most of these people. Ashley. Actually, I'm going to put both Ashley and Miranda in there, in that I kind of did them both with the same Shepherd, just kind of a New Gamey Plus kind of deal. Because I didn't like how my first playthrough of 3 ended, and that was the one Shepherd I had where I didn't change the first name and just used the default. So, yeah, we're going to go, yeah, we'll... So yeah, Ashley and Miranda, and I think given my politics, I myself am surprised at how much the Miranda thing worked for me. And honestly, same deal with Jacob. Didn't like how they ended it. That is definitely one major misfire on 3's part, but there are a lot of people who don't like Jacob either, and I think that's kind of unfair, although I kind of get where it comes from, too. I don't think it was intentional on BioWare's part, but having one of the few black main characters in the game have an absent father, that's kind of plays into a certain stereotype. Again, I don't think I really don't think that was intentional on EA's part. That falls more into the unconscious bias kind of thing. I don't know if maybe at some point maybe the actor brought it up and they didn't listen to him, which, if that's the case, that was a real dick move on EA and BioWare's part. But or maybe he just didn't say anything, or maybe even he didn't have a problem with it. Who knows? But yeah, I've only done the Jacob path once, so that's fine. Again, don't like how it ended, though, so if I do another playthrough at any point, although I don't have anything you could play the legendary version on, so I don't know if I'd ever have a reason to. I'm counting Allers, Diana Allers, even though that isn't really a romance, that's more of a hookup. And in fact, I consider it so much a hookup as opposed to a romance that I count the run where I slept with her as my no romance run. Has anyone ever done one of those besides me? Is there like a fandom nickname for that, where you play the whole trilogy intentionally not starting a romantic relationship with any of the characters? It's probably something silly like No Row or whatever. Tally. Easily tied with Garrus for favorite companion. I imagine, which is probably the case for a lot of players. Just probably why it annoyed a lot of people that one of the reasons she shows up so late in 3 is because a lot of the creative staff don't like her and didn't really want her in the game at all, which really bad call. Yeah, a lot of the DLC, I'm good that a lot of the DLC gives you more chances to have Tally on your team for the game. Okay, so that's it for the done once. Yeah, I think you're starting to... You might be getting an idea of where I'm going here with some of these, but, you know, I may still surprise you. So we're going up to done twice, and fittingly enough, there are 2 characters in here. Liara, once with a bro-shep, once with a fem-shep. Yeah, there's people in the fandom who don't like Liara very much either. I don't think that's entirely fair. And another one who I think kind of gets a bad rap. I think he's likable enough. I mean, I can see not liking him, I guess. I don't really see why so many people think he's boring, though. I don't quite get that specifically. But yeah, Caden Alenko, and same deal with Liara. Once with a bro-shep, once with a fem-shep. And... yeah, anyone who knows me knew exactly how this was going to end before I even got here. Hashtag Shaner for life. Yeah. 3 times. 3 playthroughs. Romancing comm specialist Samantha Trainer. You know, there are complaints about that relationship in the game that are perfectly valid, but I love the banter between these two. It is so funny and so sweet, and you get one of the best lines in the whole trilogy. You can only get it if you take the Shaner path, and that's that moment. It's like, you think it's after one of the dream sequences, and they're in bed together, they wake up, and Trainer asks Shepard, like, how she's feeling, something like that. It's been a while, so I don't remember the exact setup, but then Shepard goes, "Everybody looks at me like I know what I'm doing." I cannot do the line justice, because, as you've probably well aware, I am not equipped to be a voice actor. I do not have... People have joked about having a face for radio. My joke about myself is I have a voice for miming. But, yeah, that line in that moment, delivered by Jennifer Hale, just, it is one of the best lines in the whole trilogy. And, you know, true story, I actually wrote a Shaner fic for 803. You know, yeah, I know, you might be cringing a little bit. It's like, oh boy, cishet, you know, cishet white boy writing a story about a same-sex couple who are both women. Yeah, it doesn't get like Bow Chicka Wow Wow or anything like that. In fact, it's set just after the end of 3, and based on a Control ending, so it's kind of sad. But you know, I had comments on it on AO3, people saying it's like, oh, I'm crying now, and I considered kind of being mean and replying to those comments with, my work here is done. But that probably would have been a bit much. But yeah, as it says right up there, none of the Andromeda options are included. But that's okay, I've only played that twice. And although I did watch a video about the, oh god, what's her name? She's the pilot, she's kind of a redhead like Chambers. Yeah, oh, well, anyway, yeah, I saw a video someone cut together of like all their scenes in Andromeda if you take the romance path with her, and it was really cute and really funny. I really liked that one. I'm gonna try and find that again. I'll just need to remember the pilot's name first before I get... No, he wasn't the pilot, or... Oh my god, I think her Solarian friend was the pilot, but he had a great line in one of those too, where it's like, your writer and her are flirting, and then the Solarian pilot, why can't I remember his name? He was one of my favorite characters. Oh, this is so embarrassing. And he's just sitting there overhearing this, and at one point he just goes, kill me now. Okay, I'm going to try and find that and include a link to it in the show notes. But yeah, it's like I have no particular strong opinions about the Andromeda romances, apart from that one, obviously, and that's not even one of the ones I tried. But, well. Anywho. It's like, oh, well, I'll go so far as to say, if I ever do play Andromeda again, I am not going to romance Liam. Because, oh, man, you know, I liked him at first, but then his loyalty mission came along, and it just really turned me against him in the game. And okay, now I'm rambling. I'm talking about a completely different game now. Andromeda not included in this. Okay, yeah, I'm done now. And, yeah, I don't know what the next one's going to be now either. In fact, I think I may just make it a habit from here on out to not announce what the next one's going to be at the end of these, because I'll be honest, I'm not sure anyone particularly cares. Well, that sounded meaner than I meant it to. I'm sorry. Anyway, have fun. Stay safe.